Okay, so now we want to improve our click-through rate. And click-through rate, as mentioned, is a good metric, one that many of us look at from time to time. It's one of those that automatically comes up in Google Ads if you're getting impressions and clicks. And it helps you to see how you're performing, how targeted those ads are, whether people are really clicking through or they're ignoring yours, and maybe going to competitors. So click through rate really is one of those conversions that's important, but is not the only one that you should really focus on. But it really tells you a lot about how your campaigns are improving and so forth. I mean, click through rate is also tied to quality scores. So the expected click through rate is one of the factors to your quality scores, and it determines what quality scores you're going to get. So you always want to improve that and just make sure you're increasing your expected click through rate by writing targeted ads and so forth and so on, or just making sure you're achieving certain positions. Now, position and click through rate doesn't really affect quality scores because it normalizes for the position you're at. But if you wanted to just increase your click through rate, um, appearing high is important. So anyone in position one and two would generally get more or higher click through rate than someone who's down at six or seven. So more click through rate generally means more traffic, as long as your budget is there and people are able to continue clicking and coming through to your site and taking whatever actions you want them to take. So I mean, looking at the dashboard here in my reports, I can see click through rate for my different campaigns: 2.83% for that campaign, 4.25% for that campaign. I can click in and I can see it as well for different ad groups. So I can see it for Learn Google Ads, that ad group, Learn PPC, that ad group, and I can then drill even deeper and see how it's performing for my keywords and so forth. So I can see specific keywords. So this now gives you more granular information. I can see how each of these are performing and I can work on improving that. And you can even go deeper and go to your search terms and actually see the actual searches and see what you're getting for those. And the pattern starts to change as you're looking at it at different levels. Campaign level is the higher level, all the way down to search terms and so forth. And that's key. I mean, you can also see it for your ad, what it is, and so forth. Responsive search ads have changed things because the ad is now created at auction time, and it will be whatever it is based on the context, because now you've got 15 headlines and 4 description lines. So the system creates the ad at auction time, unlike before when we had expanded text ads and standard text ads, where what you had, those 1, 2, or 3 headlines was what was just going to show regardless, because you've only got a few headlines. Now you've got 15 headlines, and that determines which ad is going to be created, and also then determines your click-through rate. So how can we improve this? Going back to my campaign and so forth, I can focus on trying improving the overall click-through rate, which is cool. That's good, and I can do that. But usually best to really drill into it and go into the search terms and the keywords and see how you're performing for those and work on that. What I would say is, first thing I would say is try and consider your ads. How relevant are they to the searches and so forth you're getting? If your if your ads are relevant, you're gonna get more clicks. Your click through rate is gonna be high, and so forth. And so, what you want to do with that is you want to. I'm just editing this ad so you can see. You want to provide as many headlines as you can, up to 15 you can as you can, and even up to 4 descriptions if you can, if you've got things to say that are relevant. Just don't just add them just for the sake of it, and so forth. So that gives the system a lot more to work with. It helps to make your ads more relevant and helps to boost your click-through rate. So some of the things to really consider when you're talking about ads is benefits. What features are you saying? Do you have a unique call to action? Do you have a unique selling point? Highlight those things. Don't make your ads just to be like everybody else's ads, and get some ideas from the system, because it will tell you, oh, here are some headline suggestions, call to action phrases, and all those that are relevant, test them. It amazes me every time I take over clients' accounts. They are using responsive search ads, and all they have is one, two, three, four headlines, or just three or something. And they never take time to talk about inventory phrases, trust phrases, promotion phrases. Some of these are very relevant, and you can try them out and test them. Um, Also, one of the very important things is to make sure the keywords that people are searching with are somewhere in the ad, especially in position one. So you can see in this ad group, I've got my main keyword in the headline right there. And if I wanted, I could say, you know what, I want to pin it to position one. Google doesn't recommend doing this. You can see my ad strength has gone from good to average because of that. But it means that my headline one is going to come up always up there. And I may also want to change and add this syntax to really change the ads that come, the keywords that really come in the ad. Because I've got multiple keywords, it's not always possible to add all of them. So what I can use is the dynamic keyword insertion tool, which uses curly brackets just like this. So I could say open curly bracket keyword colon, and then the default keyword I want, and then close it, something like that. So this is how it comes up. So it then rotates based on what keyword the person who's seen your ad is used, and so forth. And you can do that, and it really saves you a lot of time. What you may want to think about, for example, if you noticed in my ad, um, the way it comes up is determined by how I use the syntax, the word keyword. So, for example, I've got learn PPC, but sometimes it comes up not as capital as I want. So, what I can do is sometimes I can change this uh, syntax. You can play around with it, and there's two parts to that word. So, you've got key and word. So, I can capitalize that part, and it comes up like that. May not be the best way, but you can change it based on whatever keyword you have, for example. Or you could, if I show you, you could also change the first part of the word keyword to determine what the ad is going to look like in the results. So you can change it like that, um, however you want it. Um, that would really be important, and really determines how your keywords are going to come up and so forth. So you can test this syntax and see how it works for you. Obviously, different for different industries, and then you will see if it's really working and so forth. So the ad is really key. Have some real good benefits, have some features in there. It's going to make a lot of difference. And then another way to improve it is your search terms, um, and your keywords as well. If you're finding that some search terms have got very low click-through rate and low conversions, but they're maybe driving a significant amount of traffic over a certain period, you can just remove them. And removing them over time then helps your click through rate increase. So that's something you should really think about. Um, One keyword will often drive many different searches. So, for example, I've got 1,659 searches in there. how many keywords do I have, and those I've only got 38 keywords, but you can see they're driving 1,659 because people search in all kinds of ways. So I can then drill. So based on that, it's usually not best to look at the click-through rate from the keyword level. It's often best to look at it at the search term level because at the search term, you can actually drill into the actual searches and what click-through rates and so forth they have, and then you can optimize based on that. And you will find that some have got very high click-through rate, which is good because they are relevant. But you've got some which are much lower, not too bad, but you will get some which are like 0 point something, or many which are zero, and maybe you just need to block them and stuff like that. So these are some of the things you need to think about. Different ways to improve your click-through rate, an important metric and one I definitely recommend. But you also need to see how it ties in with things like conversions and conversion metrics and how it's performing for your ads and your campaigns.